Hi there, Andrew Montlack again, and what I wanted to talk about today a little bit was the role of genre. My background is actually in filmmaking and screenwriting, independent filmmaking and screenwriting, I should say. And Drip, it didn't start out as a novel, it started out as a movie. A lot of what I learned about screenwriting was applied directly to Drip. And I think there is a lot of back and forth that you can have in writing a screenplay versus writing a novel. They're not the same thing, first of all. I mean, a screenplay is a blueprint for what the film is going to be. A screenplay is not generally a sexy read. They're a little sexier now because there's such a glut of writers, aspiring screenwriters that want to get their stuff read, and you have a lot of very harried development interns and newer development execs who are just inundated with stuff that's both good and bad, and they just have to read this stuff and digest it and turn it around and write coverage on it. So there is a desire to make the screenplay very snappy, and there's a lot of things you can't do, though. There's a lot of things you can't put in it, otherwise you're the phrase is directing on paper. All that stuff you can do in a novel, and you can make it lyrical. The rules of drama and of storytelling, I think, apply equally to both. And one thing that I got more educated with respect to, more involved in, was genre. And this is something I have an uncomfortable relationship with. For me, writing and the process of developing a story is not the process of saying I want to write, do a murder mystery or a thriller or a horror it doesn't start with genre for me. But so much of what you encounter as you start talking to other writers and you take classes, you learn about the craft. You learn a lot about genre and trying to keep in mind what you can do and what you can't do. Then when the book is finished, after much writing and rewriting and really honing it, you get into a new requirement to talk about genre as a selling point. Now, in the case of Drip, this is to my mind, a multi-genre novel. I suppose, first and foremost, I thought of it as a coming-of-age story about two young men who've been lifelong friends through high school, through elementary school, on up through high school, and through college, and a story of what happens to their friendship as they enter the real world. But Drip isn't told the way a normal coming-of-age novel would be told. First of all, there's a lot of satire in it. Things are very sort of funky in the place where they're working, and so it feels like a certain kind of business thriller, a corporate thriller. Then again, there are some unusual things going on at this company, which I'm not going to divulge here, but that certainly makes this a supernatural story. If you start talking about the supernatural part early, even though that is a selling point and that's sort of a natural a hook, it anchors people, makes people expect, because of genre. You expect that something's going to happen in the first 10 pages. You expect to see something in the cover art. And if you do that, you're going to lose all the other genre elements. Everything else just falls away. I think the people that do read it are going to be much more satisfied than if I present it as a traditional sort of supernatural thriller. That comes with a set of expectations that locks you into stuff. And some people are really good at writing more on the genre type stuff. I feel like the more you go directly with one particular genre, the more boxes you have to check off, and it gets a little constricting. Drip it's a mixed genre, and what I've sort of said to people who ask what is it, it's a coming of age story, but it's also a corporate satire, and it's also a supernatural thriller. And hopefully The intent is that you, the reader, will be delighted when you sort of discover the nature of the supernatural, the nature of the thriller, in a way that maybe you wouldn't if it was advertised on the front cover.